In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
We all know Texas has some crazy sightings, weird animals, weird cryptids, but take a look at this dash cam footage. Did they capture a rake or some sort of humanoid being running across the road? Or is this AI? Some people swear it's not, some swear it is. It has the internet divided. Take a look at this footage. I have slowed it down, and tell me what you think. Is this real or is this fake? And if it's real, what is this thing? Comment below.
Quiet night out here. Whoa! What the? Did you see that? Hold on.
It ran across.
Headlights just blinked. What is that thing?
It's gone. It's in the trees.
Quiet night out here. Whoa! Quiet night out here. Whoa! What the? Did you see that? Hold on.
It ran across.
Headlights just blinked. What is that thing?
It's gone. It's in the trees.
That's just good old Uncle Jim looking for some crack. Definitely not an AI-generated video.
I'm sorry, but they found what under Antarctica? We know this place is a little bit weird. Pyramids, weird structures that have been there for millions of years, and things that obviously are kept secret from us. Now, this place here is called Lake Vostok. Lakes are everywhere on Earth, Matt. What's the big deal with that? Well, this was discovered back in 1974, and look how much ice there is, and kilometers, literally miles under the ice, is this actual bit of water. Now, the crazy thing about it being frozen completely above and then a bit of water below is it kind of preserves whatever's down there. So, what the hell did they find? Well, several years after they discovered this lake, for the first time in over 20 million years, researchers actually went down there and started looking into it. Obviously, this is very classified because, the Russian scientists that were looking into it don't want anybody knowing about what was found. Leaked information, though, suggests that they found some kind of creatures down there that shouldn't really be here, including a giant squid, which doesn't seem that crazy apart from that it killed the entire crew who went down there allegedly. Great. Reports then suggest that they actually captured this squid and took it to some kind of testing facility where they were really looking into it and researching it, and that is kind of as far as the story goes. We do not know what the hell happened from this point onwards. We're, 90% certain that they did find this unusual creature, a bit bigger than normal, and it did kill people, but then it was kind of hidden and kept a big secret from the scientists who were working on this project.
I cannot speak for how much truth is in this story, but it would not surprise me that there's been some pretty major discoveries in Antarctica, ones that people try to keep secret from the public.
We've got some big 3-eye atlas news. That comet, asteroid, object, spaceship, whatever you want to call it, headed towards Earth. Well, now it's pulsing with a rhythm similar to a heartbeat. Yeah, that thing's not gone. In fact, it'll be closest to Earth around December 19th. And Harvard scientist the Avi Loeb said this heartbeat type of shenanigans on this thing makes him think the 3-eye atlas has some type of alien technology connected to it. By the way, I said that without blinking. Now, most people think this thing's a comet. I personally don't really know, except it's really stuck around our solar system for a while. But the Avi Loeb is convinced there's something to this pulse, heartbeat type pulse, that makes it seem there's some intelligence controlling this thing. And the Avi Loeb isn't the only scientist talking about this. So, my question to you there, Binky, is 3-eye atlas an alien-controlled object of some sort? Or the strangest comet ever encountered by the people of the Earth? Let me know what you think in the comment section, which is kind of down there. Shabadoo Bushkis, Shabadoo.
I cannot wait to hear what people have to say about this 3-eye atlas when December 19th comes. There's probably going to be some kind of conspiracy around it. I'm pretty certain that there's been some content creators about 6 weeks ago that were saying that something bad was going to happen. So we'll see. And as far as what 3-eye atlas really is, at this point, I do not think anyone really truly knows. And it'll probably go down in history as being an odd space anomaly, kind of like the WOW signal, but I am curious to see what people have to say by December 19th. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Okay guys, something pretty huge seems to be happening in Bulgaria right now. You guys have absolutely flooded my comments and my tags, and for fairly good reason it seems, because over the past week in Bulgaria, it seems that they have had some of the largest demonstrations they have seen in decades. In fact, on Monday alone, 50,000 Bulgarians, mainly led by young people, which would explain why the mentions are going so crazy right now. They took to the streets of the capital city, they marched to the parliament building, while they were chanting resignation and holding banners which read, "Gen Z is coming." And yes, the One Piece flag was seen there too. This is a theme of this year. It's insane. Here's the craziest part though. So one of the main reasons that they were protesting, they were so angry, is this new budget proposal. And that would increase taxes, it would increase social security contributions, as well as switch over to the euro. But after these protests, and this is just moments ago, the government has now announced that they will withdraw the budget plan. Now, they were also protesting things like government corruption, empty promises, but as it stands, Gen Z might have done it yet again.
Very interesting. I'm wondering if this is going to happen more and more in America. I have not heard of anything like this happening here yet, but it would not surprise me if it does become a trend. And if it actually makes things work, it might not be a bad move. As long as it's a peaceful protest and it doesn't disrupt anyone's day-to-day life cycle, I see absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Here's what the news is telling us about these buildings that mysteriously caught fire in Hong Kong recently versus the totally fictional theory of what might actually be going on behind the scenes. Because these fires raged for over 40 hours straight, completely engulfing 7 buildings in flames for almost 2 whole days, and they didn't collapse? Which they shouldn't. Buildings are built to withstand extreme scenarios like these. Like, imagine something as ridiculous as just 1 floor of a skyscraper catching fire and the entire building collapsing in under 2 hours. Anyway, they're telling us it was actually an ancient construction method that was the root cause of these fires. One of the deadliest fires in Hong Kong's modern history, with over 128 people that have perished, and that number just keeps climbing every day, with an additional 279 people that have gone missing, as 7 residential high-rise buildings caught fires seemingly out of nowhere on November 26, 2025, during a huge restoration project on this complex. Well, just 2 days before these fires broke out, an article was published explaining how Hong Kong is trying to phase out its traditional bamboo scaffolding used for construction due to fire risks because it's bamboo, which is technically not wood but a tree-like grass, despite them using this method for construction for well over 2,000 years. And I guess it just took them that long to realize bamboo is flammable, because this was never really an issue in Hong Kong until just 2 days after that article was posted, when all this happened, spreading across 7 buildings. Now, mainland China actually already banned bamboo scaffolding back in 2022 in favor of steel support systems, and have been pressuring Hong Kong to do so as well. For those who don't know, China and Hong Kong are actually 2 completely different entities. Not exactly its own country, as China still technically owns Hong Kong, with an asterisk, as something in between a country and a city called a Special Administrative Region, SAR, each with their own currencies, dialects, laws, and governments, with Hong Kong being more of a small, isolated, somewhat westernized pocket in that part of the world. The reason behind this split between China and Hong Kong started when Britain defeated the Qing dynasty in 1842, taking over Hong Kong in victory. In 1898, Britain struck a deal with China, agreeing to a 99-year lease of China's land that ended in 1997, when Britain would give Hong Kong back to China, which they did. But the crucial part here is in 1984, Britain and China signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration, which stated that Britain would still give Hong Kong back to China in 1997, under the conditions that Hong Kong retains its sovereignty and independent culture from China for 50 years, operating under the one country, two systems principle, which is actually going to end in 2047, when China will fully legally regain control of Hong Kong again, and they can do whatever they want with it, like outright ban the use of bamboo scaffolding in favor of Chinese-produced steel beams, which, according to them, may have prevented these fires. Police have since arrested 11 people at the construction company behind this restoration project for the fires under gross negligence and manslaughter. And I guess we'll be seeing what changes, if any, both of these governments will be putting into motion as a result of this tragedy.
I am really sorry for anyone that's experiencing loss from these building fires. That is horrible. And when it comes to bamboo scaffold, I really think that that's a great idea for smaller structures. It's super lightweight, but for these extraordinarily large structures, it would probably be better to use metal.
I had to share these next 2 witness videos with you because they honestly are weird.
and need to be seen. We're becoming desensitized to the things that we're seeing in the sky, and it's almost becoming an everyday thing, and it shouldn't be. The following two videos are from two different witnesses coming out of San Antonio and Austin, Texas, captured on the night of November 30th, 2025. They both captured these weird lights in the sky, but that's not the only weird thing. You can hear some sort of sound coming from these objects, almost like a musical chime. And no, these videos have not been doctored. No music or anything has been inlaid or to them. This is the raw, uncut videos from both witnesses. Take a look at this. Comment below. Tell me what you think.
I would have to take a guess and say that those are some sort of stage lights. And that noise that was playing in the background was probably the concert or whatever was performing from the stage. That would be my guess. If any of you have any ideas as to what it could be, please let me know in the comments.
Scientists have discovered that lining pipes with lab-grown diamonds can help keep them squeaky clean and prevent mineral buildups from forming inside the pipes. So what we're talking about today is primarily industrial piping that pumps chemicals, and anytime you're pumping chemicals or non-water substances, even water sometimes, you have to deal with mineral buildup that can clog the pipes, which can increase maintenance and operational costs. Well, scientists had this clever idea at the Rice University in Houston to try coating pipes with lab-grown diamonds. And the lab-grown diamonds they're using look something like the ones in this video. So these aren't big diamonds, these aren't jewelry diamonds, this isn't what you would wear on a date or give to somebody. These are more like nano diamonds, like diamond dust. They're making these tiny little particles, and then they'll mix this dust into a solution and coat the inside of the pipe with it. There's a special method for doing so. Basically, once you've got your diamond dust, they feed in methane and hydrogen gases into a reactor chamber that contains silicon wafers spin coated with the nanodiamond solution, and then high power microwave radiation energizes some of the atoms of the gases into a hot plasma state, which frees up the carbon atoms on the wafers to settle on the wafers, and thus linking into the diamond structure over the course of the next several hours. So after they've done this kind of wild process of coating the inside of the pipe with nanodiamond wafers using gas, they then tested it in a supersaturated calcium sulfate solution for 20 hours, which is one that will build up a lot of minerals and ruin pipes. And as it turns out, the diamond film pipes accumulated an order of magnitude less buildup, or only 10% or less buildup compared to regular pipes. So it performs literally 10 times better than average. And I know this doesn't seem that impressive, but this stands to change how we do industrial piping forever, perhaps even reducing the cost of certain goods, because if we don't have to clean and replace and maintain the pipes all the time because they're getting filled with mineral deposits, then we can just work them harder, longer, faster, better, the good old capitalist way, you know?
I know it's not the same as real diamonds, but where I'm from, people like to steal copper pipe because it's worth some money. If the people around here hear that pipes have diamonds in them, they're going to be taking them as well.
What is going on now? I actually swear to God, man. Recently, scientists discovered some kind of new object on Mars which could indicate some kind of life form there. But they also published a first photo in a very long time of the actual landscape, which just looks like the desert in Nevada. But people have been going crazy over these photos. Everybody's been freaking out after seeing this. Do you want to know what the response was? Looks depressing. I mean, well, what do you expect? There's not going to be a flipping Marks and Spencers on Mars, is there? The sky isn't even blue. It's literally like a dust planet. What do you expect? People are apparently just finding out that the US actually wanted to nuke the moon. Yeah, I'm deadly serious. In the 1950s, the US genuinely did want to nuke the moon in order to just create a massive dent and crater on the planet, so that if Russia somehow got there first, they would know that America has kind of made its dent. Of course, that's just the most American thing ever. Just put an eagle on the moon as well. A mother has just shown a terrifying photo of her son's lung who had been vaping for every day. More and more reason to basically stop doing that when you see this photo. That is what it actually looks like. And you think that's good for you?
I do not condone smoking cigarettes or vaping. I do believe both of them are very bad for you. Now, I've lost a pretty good deal of family due to smoking, but one thing I will say, these people were smoking when they were children. They were smoking cigarettes until they passed away in their 70s and 80s. It kind of blows my mind that these kids are vaping and it's doing more damage than someone that's been smoking cigarettes for multiple decades of their life. Because your kid's lungs should not look like beef jerky if they've only been smoking for 3 years, even if it's every day. That is really absurd to me. Please, know your limits, take care of yourself.
The following disturbing video comes from a couple in the woods. They were out hiking when they decided to venture deeper into an area they had never been to. They were allegedly miles deep when something caught their eye, a huge dark figure moving effortlessly through the thick vegetation. What makes this video even more compelling is it was taken before AI was even a thing. So there's no way this one is AI. But anyways, the couple freezes and films, not knowing what else to do. They whisper quietly, completely blown away by what they were seeing. The huge muscular creature continues pushing through the forest, but then it notices the hikers. It emits a low guttural growl. Then, moments later, it charges right towards them, growling ferociously. The couple runs away, practically dropping their camera as they flee. It was never made known what exactly happened next after the video stopped. Were they successfully hunted down by this creature, or did they make it away? Though it said Bigfoot attacks are uncommon in reported sightings, they are said to happen here and there. But just imagine being hunted down by a predatory creature that isn't yet proven to exist, especially one that looks like this in the video. It would have to be one of the scariest feelings a human could ever endure.
Now, I've never seen that video before, so I cannot confirm how old it actually is. It did have an authentic look to it, and unless someone found their footage, obviously they made it out alive. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you know where the original video is, and or if you know how old the original video is, please let me know. I personally believe it to be an AI video, but it's kind of hard to tell, so I'm not certain on that one.
If everyone knew what Mr. Beast is affiliated with, they would immediately recognize that his come-up was not organic. Now, we all know he just signed with the Schmucka-Schmeller Foundation, right? Which is shocking in itself, because in the video, with the Schmucka-Schmeller president, he does this at the 33-second mark, which also is very telling, but also shocking. However, what is not known is that the Creative Artists Agency, which many of the most popular YouTubers are signed with. It's a talent agency. It manages you, right? Now, he is not signed with the CAA, but he is a key participant in a new program developed by YouTube in partnership with CAA to create tools that allow high-profile figures to blah, 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 blah. But look at this. But surely you must be wondering, what does the Creative Artists Agency in California look like from an aerial view? Well, no big deal. Just an all-seeing eye pyramid with the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Providence. And, of course, the Freemasonic compass as well. So the question you got to ask yourself is this a coincidence? Oopsie. Or are they completely hiding in plain sight what's going on, telling you who's in control, telling you, like, these are fingerprints for who's pulling the strings? They say the eyes are useless if the mind is blind. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow from here.
I looked this up on Google Maps just to see if this was true, and it actually is. And not only that, at the top of the triangle portion, where the number 12 landing pad is, that's where the Rockefeller Capital Management is, as you see right here that I'm highlighting blue. That cannot be a coincidence. Also, I do not know if it was talking about Mr. Beast, BlackRock, or what have you, but my video yesterday did horrible as far as views go, and I checked the impressions on it, and the impressions were the lowest I've ever seen one of my videos ever being pushed out. Normally my impressions have 30 to 50,000 people seeing my video. Maybe not necessarily clicking on it, but it's been pushed out to that many eyes. Well, the video I uploaded yesterday only had 17,000 impressions, which is still a good bit of impressions. But to my normal standard, I thought that was a bit odd. And I didn't get no notification saying, hey, don't talk about things or you're shadow banned. But it only leaves me to believe it's because BlackRock and Mr. Beast was brought up. So it kind of makes me think that this video also now may not get pushed out as heavily, which is fine. I just do find that pretty suspicious. Just so happens that I'm talking about how billionaires should help end world hunger. And that video is the one that does the poorest out of all of my videos. Come on. With that being said, I have been labeled as a YouTube plant as well. There has been a great number of people in my comments that say that YouTube has put me here to spread misinformation and to spin a false narrative and all of this stuff. And trust me when I tell you, I am not a plant. Plus, I think I say way too many stupid things for YouTube to truly like me, and I would end up probably getting YouTube in trouble if I was a plant. So it's better for me to just be a normal dude just in front of a camera talking about whatever I want to talk about. But for those that think that I'm a YouTube plant, stop that. I'm not.
There's a rabbit hole that I went down that kept me up for a few nights, and I figured I'd share it with you guys. Have you ever heard of the prison planet theory? Prison planet theory is essentially that we live on a prison planet, and there's a net over this planet trapping our souls and reincarnating us back on this planet. So this alien race or a race of higher beings can source our energy to live off of. Now, the specific energy they source is negative energy, and that would really explain why a lot of people get the short end of the stick in life. What really got me thinking about this theory is a lot of people are like, I'm doing better than I ever have. I've heard so many people say that they are making more money than they ever have. They are just doing great financially, but they're in the same spot that they've been. That there is no getting ahead, there's no moving forward, you're just stuck. And that's what these beings feed off of. And it's crazy too because multiple religions have mentioned this prison planet theory somewhere in their scriptures. And if you believe in remote viewing and astral projecting, these people have seen the prison planet and do indeed say that this theory is real. And apparently there was also like some sort of documentation from Roswell. If you believe in the whole alien situation, they talked to these aliens and the aliens told them that this was their prison planet. Now, am I saying Earth is a prison planet? No. But that would explain the huge gap between the elite and the common people. Maybe they're feeding off of our turmoil. What do you guys think about this? Let me know.
As far as the prison planet theory goes, I have belief in that, but not in the form of extraterrestrial or other beings from outer space feeding off of our souls. I think it's more on a corporate level. I think that there's just high up people that keep the public suppressed to keep their pockets lined with cash. They feed negative information to people to keep people suppressed, depressed, and they also keep you from feeling motivation so that you cannot progress further in your own life, kind of giving you this constant feeling that someone's got their boot on your neck. I do believe that to be a prison planet set up by the elites. That would be my theory around the whole prison planet.
What is the reason that most people are right-handed? Maybe because of fights. About 80 to 90% of people are right-handed, while less than 15%, and some are just freaks. Since there are only two options, you might think that it's a genetic coin toss. And even though some parts of the world still think that being left-handed is unclean, and they train kids out of it, but even without interference, there is still no nation on Earth that is predominantly left-handed. Researchers aren't sure the exact genes choosing it. There could be as many as 40, but a study from 2011 studying teeth and which side was more worn down found that we have favored the right side for at least 500,000 years, which in the animal kingdom is pretty unusual to favor a side so strongly. One popular theory is that being right-handed gave our ancestors an edge when we started hunting with tools. If you're facing an animal or an opponent, it's easier to stab the left side where the heart leans, and that slight advantage could have cascaded to an entire species favoring one side. But being left-handed has its advantages too. Their movements are harder to predict, which is good for fights or sports, and is probably the reason why some sports have a higher proportion of left-handed players, which depending on the year and sport could be as high as 30%, like baseball pitchers. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a part of the left-hand gang. I am left-handed, and that irritated my parents for a while because everything that I did was opposite than what they were capable of doing themselves. I mean, they taught me how to shoot in a right-handed stance. I had to shoot with a right-handed bow. I even played a right-handed guitar, even though my primary hand is left. And heaven forbids if you're left-handed and you try to cut something with scissors. You definitely need a good pair of left-handed scissors if you want that to work for you. I just can't believe that it was such a big problem and people tried to train people out of being left-handed. But hey, leave a comment if you're also left-handed. We can all feel special in our little left-handed club. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.